The next one, number 5, we start to get into some of these global patterns. Squatting. Everybody's favorite. How you hold the bar, totally up to you, but it should be based on the goal that you have. Whether it's right here because you want to pick up grandkids or your own kids, whether it's back here because you're improving the overall gross mass or strength that your body has, okay? All of these things play a role. The end result needs to be desired or decided before you start. That way you know where to begin. So now we can get into this squat, which is kind of the easy part. Because now we've pretty much got the whole system fired up. We've gone through breathing and bracing. We've got systems. We've got gait. Okay, we've got internal and external activation through the feet and the hips. So we're pretty much set up. So the first thing that I want you to think about here is when we got down to that squat in the very beginning, we talked about anterior, posterior tilt. We're trying to find neutral spine. That neutral spine is no different than where I'm at right here, than where I'm at right here, than where I'm at right here. It's the same. It's a plank. I'm just throwing something extra on it. Okay? So now what I want you to do is grab your light weight, and we're going to do what's called a goblet hold. So we reach down, grab that weight. We're going to hold it right at the chest. Okay? We got the grip right here. And we set those feet up just about hip width distance apart, where I feel strong. Next thing is to tuck those hips and find that neutral spine position. I don't want to go down into the squat and start sticking it out. Okay? That's extra. You got to pay for that. Okay? Take a deep breath in. Okay, we want to tuck the hips and find that neutral, and then we're going to take our glutes and sit them down nice and slow. Ride that elevator down. You should feel your legs working. The knees are open. Big toe, pinky toe, heel. Now drive out of the hole. Feel the legs doing the work, not my back arching and my shoulders shrugging. Breathe in, brace, down slow. Feel the quads, the glutes. Drive up. Lock it out when we get to the top. One more. Breathe in. Brace the belly, keep the tension tight, and exhale, drive all the way through. Good, kettlebells down. Tell me about that. How did it feel? Is it different than what you have been doing? A little bit? Yep. Got it. Right? Okay, so we want to make sure that we have that control, and this is what I was inferring when I was saying that strength training is an intimate thing. Because if you can get really good at feeling that connection, then you can speed up. But if you can't feel that connection, that's like driving with a flat tire going 100 miles an hour. Can you move? But are you causing problems? Right? So now what I want you to do, if you're feeling dashing and daring, go to your heavy kettlebell. Oh, Nancy. Hey, because you came to party. Okay, so here's something that I want you to think about for a second, okay? How many of you reach down and grab your heavy kettlebell like this? Okay. Right? Okay. Right? So think about that. Remember what we just talked about. If I ask for a 7 in terms of the resistance, that 7 is like a, I got to think. I got to move with it. So right away, what you just told me is that your understanding of what strength means and your ability to accomplish that load is not very high. If this is a 7, we got a little bit of work to do, right? Because if I'm picking up a 7, I should get right over the top. I've got to be present in this moment. I can't be thinking about my kids or work or taxes or who's going to be winning the playoffs, right? I got to be here and get that weight up. Does that make sense? Yes, simply put, if you did what I had described, you picked a light weight for something that should be something that you should be putting a little more effort behind. So we're going to do this once, and then I'm going to give you an invitation to go grab something a little heavier, right? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You're going to step right over the top. We're going to reach down with 2 hands. It's a big pop right up the front of the body, and then quickly grab the outside and hold. Okay, ready? Take that breath in, and up, and hold it. We got it up to the top. My feet are set. Breathe in, and brace, and down. Hold that tension in the core. Exhale up. Breathe in, brace, sit, exhale, drive. One more. Breathe in, brace, sit, and drive. Exhale out. Release. Okay, so one thing that I want to address. How should we be breathing and bracing when we're moving with heavy resistance? Where should I inhale? Prep. My breathing and bracing is a preparatory movement to get me ready for the weight. Ready to go, right? You can give yourself that little tap. Make sure that it's on. Where we don't want to do it is this. Okay? Anybody ever try to crush a pop can before? Okay, and you're pushing on it, and then all of a sudden you ding the side. You ding the side, and it goes. That's the same thing with our trunk. And when we release that pressure, we don't have the inner abdominal pressure to brace appropriately to create the stability that our spine needs to be able to distribute that load to the rest of the system. So when I am exerting force, when I am working my hardest, I am bracing, creating that inner abdominal pressure, and when I cross or clear that breaking point, the point where I know I'm going to be able to get it, boom, I start exhaling. Once I get past the knees, I know I can get up the rest of the way. I have to release that pressure. Out. I'm squatting. Release. Does that make sense? I'm pressing.
So I just want to get this right. You get your breath and then go down and then
Pause. You got the brace. Now you got all of it right? But what's the piece that I need you to do? You said I got the breathing and then I go down. What am I missing?
the brace.
That's right.
Yeah.
Breathe it in.
I was touching myself.
That's good. Brace. That's all right. Do that here, okay? Breathe in and brace.
Okay.
You've got that tension. Keep that tension, and then we ride the elevator down.
Okay.
And I always use the analogy, push the ground away from you. Okay? And then stand back up. Does that make sense?
Doing like an inhale and then a hold.
Yep.
And then an exhale.
Think about what we were doing when we were down on the floor here, right? The moment those legs came up, we had constant tension. We can't get away from it. So I have to be able to breathe and keep tension and exhale and keep tension. If I breathe and then collapse, my back arches, my legs want to drop, my whole form starts to break down. So when we are moving through the motion, you'll hear it, right? Right? Now I'm over exaggerating that, but
To be precise, it's an inhale while you're prepping.
you inhale, prep,
And then you're just
brace.
brace and hold the brace. So you're not inhale or exhale while you're lower. You're just holding. And then you exhale as you're coming up.
Good. Now let's define for a moment, because this is going to be an important piece. If I'm in a class where it's like, I'm not going to go, I don't get the timing, because that isn't going to work. Endurance, we've got to be able to do it while we're doing both movements. But when we start getting up above that 6, 7, 8, 9 in the RPE scale, it changes the speed that I'm moving at. It changes the necessity for having good bracing. If the effort is a 4, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. It's not going to matter as much about how you're breathing and bracing. When it's a 7 or an 8, it is absolutely going to matter. So that's why load is important. Okay, this is your invitation. I'll close my eyes. Go grab a slightly heavier kettlebell. I'll count to 10. Yeah! Was that Tim Allen? Yeah.
Are you going to be able to tell if we chose something too heavy and we're going to hurt ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. You said, okay, well, you're walking with it, so you're doing pretty fine. But how you were walking it with was much different.
I just worried about that little.
Don't worry, we're going to go through this next one. Nope, you're good, because this is what we're going to go through next. So here we go. Okay, we're all back. We're feeling good. So now, before we go into the squat, there's a motion that needs to be figured out to help us get a weight up there, which is the hinge. So when we have that light weight, we all have all these things that we're doing. We can round a little bit, we might cheat, right? But when the weight gets a little bit heavier, we have to be present and we have to focus. So now that we've got that little bit of weight, we're gonna move into the hinge.